While the world knows of notorious gangs like Japan's fearsome Yakuza or the infamous MS-13 from El Salvador and the ceaseless rivalry between the Bloods and Crips in the US, a hidden truth remains. Formidable all-female gangs stand shoulder to shoulder with their male counterparts, wielding just as much power and posing an equal threat. Get ready to dive into the lives of these extraordinary outlaws. The 40 Elephants. The OG girl gang that ruled the streets of London in the early 20th century. Forget Bonnie and Clyde, these ladies were the real deal. Picture this, London, the 1920s. Prohibition is raging across the pond in the US, but across the pond in the UK, the 40 Elephants gang is making their mark. Now, these weren't your typical lawbreakers, no sir. This was an all-female gang, and they weren't here to play patty cake. Led by the notorious Diamond Annie, these ladies weren't just fashion-forward, they were crime-forward too. They had a thing for stealing, and they did it with style. Imagine a gang of flapper-era Robin Hoods, but instead of robbing the rich to give to the poor, they were robbing whoever had something worth taking. But what about the name, you ask? Well, legend has it that they got their quirky moniker from the London marketplace, where they'd pull off their heists. The market was so busy that no one would notice a few extra ladies making off with the goods. And the 40 Elephants? Well, that's a nod to the 40 or so notorious members that made up this fierce sisterhood. Now, these ladies weren't just in it for the bling. They were savvy businesswomen too. They ran a network of shops, acting as a front for their stolen loot. So picture this, you walk into a store thinking you're just buying some fancy hats, but little did you know, you're contributing to the empire of the 40 Elephants gang. In a world dominated by men, these ladies broke the mold and shattered expectations. They weren't just a gang, they were a statement, proving that women could be just as cunning and daring as their male counterparts. So there you have it, the wild and wacky tale of the 40 Elephants gang. A group of stylish, fearless women who made history as the baddest girl gang in London. Now, who says crime doesn't have a sense of fashion? Las Flacas, a band of women who flipped the script on crime in the heart of Los Angeles. Forget everything you thought you knew about gangs. These ladies brought a whole new meaning to the term girl power. Back in the 80s, while the world was jamming to neon-colored tunes, the Las Flacas were making their mark in the streets. Their name, translated from Spanish to the skinny ones, might sound unassuming, but trust me, these chicas were anything but. Led by the formidable La China, the Las Flacas gang emerged as a force to be reckoned with. They weren't just about territory and turf wars. These ladies had a flair for the dramatic. Picture this, neon spandex, big hair, and a trail of glitter. Because why blend in when you can stand out? Now, you might be wondering how they earned their street cred. Well, the Las Flacas were known for their involvement in drug trafficking and organized crime. But here's the twist. They weren't just playing the game, they were changing the rules. Unlike traditional male-dominated gangs, the Las Flacas embraced a more subtle approach, relying on their street smarts and strategic thinking. They operated in the shadows, leaving their mark without leaving chaos in their wake. But it wasn't all about the hustle for these ladies. They had their own sense of sisterhood. A tight-knit community that supported each other through thick and thin. It wasn't just about surviving, it was about thriving together. As the 90s rolled around, the Las Flacas gang began to fade into urban legend. But their legacy lives on, a reminder that women in crime weren't just playing second fiddle. They were leading the orchestra, and they did it with style. So there you have it, the untold story of the Las Flacas gang. A group of bold, stylish women who left their mark on the streets of Los Angeles. In a world where crime stories often focus on the guys, these ladies prove that the true power of a gang knows no gender. The Iezis, a clandestine group that's more than just your average crew. These guys didn't just break the mold, they shattered it and left a trail of intrigue in their wake. Formed in the underground scene of the early 2000s, the Iezis gang isn't your run-of-the-mill gang. They're a fusion of artists, thinkers, and rebels, united by a common purpose: to challenge the status quo. Picture this: a motley crew of individuals with a shared passion for pushing boundaries and embracing the unconventional. Their name, IEZs, isn't just a random assortment of letters. It's a symbol of their ethos, a fusion of IEZs, representing protection, and is, symbolizing the individual. Together, it encapsulates their mission: to be a protective shield for the individual against societal norms. Now, what makes the IEZs gang truly intriguing is their commitment to artistry. They aren't just rebels for the sake of rebellion. They're creators in their own right. From underground art installations to thought-provoking performances, the IEZs gang blurs the lines between activism and art. Their influence isn't just confined to the streets. It resonates online as well. The IEZs gang has embraced the digital age, using social media platforms to amplify their message. They've turned hashtags into anthems and memes into manifestos, creating a virtual space for free expression and unconventional ideas. But make no mistake, the IEZs gang isn't about chaos, it's about sparking conversations. They've challenged societal norms, questioned authority, and invited everyone to join the conversation. In a world where conformity often reigns supreme, the IEZs gang stands as a reminder that individuality is the ultimate rebellion. So here's to the IEZs gang, the modern-day revolutionaries who've turned the streets into a canvas and the internet into a battleground for unconventional ideas. In a world that often tries to put us in boxes, they're the ones breaking down the walls and inviting us to think beyond the ordinary. The Dagger Debs, a group of fierce women who turned the streets of London into their own personal runway. Forget the traditional notions of ladylike behavior. These ladies were rewriting the rules and leaving a trail of chaos and style in their wake. In the gritty era of the 50s and 60s, where rock and roll was the anthem, the Dagger Debs emerged as the badass girl gang that defied expectations. Led by the formidable Lisa Crystal Carver, these women weren't just rebels without a cause. They were rebels with a leather jacket, a switchblade, and a whole lot of attitude. Picture this: the streets of London, where the Dagger Debs strutted their stuff, dressed to the nines in leather and studs. They were a sight to behold. But don't let the fashion fool you. These ladies were more than just a pretty face. They were a force to be reckoned with. Their name, Dagger Debs, wasn't just for show. These women were known for their sharp wit and even sharper blades. They weren't afraid to use them, making a name for themselves in the rough and tumble world of London's subcultures. But it wasn't all about the tough exterior. The Dagger Debs were a sisterhood, a tight-knit group of women who had each other's backs. In a world where women were often relegated to the sidelines, these ladies took center stage. As the 70s rolled around, the Dagger Debs' reign began to fade, but their legacy lived on. They proved that femininity and strength weren't mutually exclusive. You could be a fierce, stylish woman and still command respect. So here's to the Dagger Debs, the original rebels with a cause. In a world full of rules, they wrote their own and danced to the beat of their own rebellious drum, leaving an indelible mark on the history of girl gangs. The Pink Panthers. Not the cartoon cat, but a real-life gang that redefined the art of heisting. These guys aren't your typical criminals. They're more like the James Bonds of the criminal underworld, minus the fancy gadgets and tailored suits. Born in the 90s, the Pink Panthers quickly became the A-listers of the criminal scene. Their specialty? High-profile jewelry heists. Picture this: suave criminals in sunglasses and sharp suits, making off with millions in diamonds. It's like a Hollywood script come to life, only this time the bad guys are the ones stealing the show. These guys aren't just ordinary thieves. They're masterminds. With a network that spans the globe, the Pink Panthers have pulled off heists in some of the most secure places on Earth. And here's the kicker: they've done it with style. They've hit up everything from luxury boutiques in Paris to exclusive events in Dubai, leaving a trail of intrigue and missing gems in their wake. But what sets them apart? It's not just the stolen bling or the adrenaline-pumping getaways, it's their meticulous planning. These guys aren't just grabbing and running, they're executing precision operations that would make even the most seasoned spy raise an eyebrow. Now, you might be wondering about the name. Well, it's not a nod to a certain animated feline. The Pink Panthers got their moniker after one heist in London, where they hid a diamond in a jar of face cream, a movie reminiscent of a certain classic movie about a bumbling detective. As the years went by, the Pink Panthers kept the authorities guessing. They weren't just criminals, they were artists, turning heists into a form of high-stakes performance art. And the best part? They often got away with it. So here's to the Pink Panthers, the real-life jewel thieves who turned crime into a glamorous affair. In a world of shadows and secrets, they shone like, well, pink diamonds. A gang that proved crime could be a masterpiece, and sometimes the bad guys really do wear pink. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of all-female gangs. These untold stories reveal the unyielding strength and audacity of women in the realm of crime. Remember, power knows no gender. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more captivating narratives that challenge stereotypes and celebrate defiance.